Alright, so many of you may know that I have lactose intolerance, or you learned that from my introduction speech, but most people don't really know what it is exactly or how it can affect somebody, so hopefully after today you guys will know. Lactose intolerance is a deficiency with your small intestine. The NHS.com says that whenever your body digests food, such as things that have lactose in it, like dairy products or milk, it produces lactase, which is an enzyme that helps break down the lactose that is found in these foods. And for someone who is lactose intolerant, your small intestine either doesn't produce the lactase that it needs, or it doesn't produce it at all. And so that's whenever the symptoms occur, and it's hard for somebody to eat these kinds of things. People that have it from whenever they're little, but the symptoms don't occur until you're usually a teenager or into young adulthood. The production of lactase declines as you get older, and so that's whenever the symptoms start occurring, usually not whenever you're a child. There are different kinds of lactose intolerance, which fit into two main groups, which is hereditary and other kinds that you can get from either a sickness or from injury. Primary and congenital are both genetic. Primary is the most common. That's what I have, actually. It's whenever the production of lactase slowly starts to decline. But for me, I was about 4 years old whenever I was diagnosed with it, so it occurred early on instead of whenever I was a teenager. And secondary is whenever you get it from an injury. That can either be something damages your small intestine, or people that have had the stomach flu actually have ended up being lactose intolerant afterwards. But it usually goes away after you either treat the injury or you get better. Developmental is whenever a baby is born premature and their organs haven't fully developed yet, and so their bodies can't produce the lactase that they need in order to digest these foods. It usually gets better after a couple of months after they start to develop more and the organs start to work better. It can sometimes last a couple of years, but usually just in the first few months. It depends on how premature they are. Congenital is the rarest type of lactose intolerance. It's whenever you are born with it and the symptoms start immediately from whenever you're a child, and it just gets worse as you get older. It's a lot harder to try to treat the symptoms for that just because of how early it is, and it can be harder on a person throughout their life. Like I said, I have primary, but my symptoms started occurring whenever I was about 4, but as I've gotten older, they've gotten better, so I'm kind of the opposite. The doctors kind of think it's weird that I had it whenever I was so young and it's starting to get better. There are different ways that you can diagnose this. Your doctor will do a medical, family, and diet history, which is the most common way that they diagnose it. They'll ask you what you've ate. They'll go through your family to see if anybody else has had it, if it's been diagnosed with anybody. But this can sometimes be misleading because if you have a milk allergy or something like that, you will have the same symptoms, but you won't know it. They'll also do a physical exam of you, and they'll do some medical tests, which is a better way to try to diagnose this. They do something that is a hydrogen breath test, and you breathe into a tube. It's kind of like a balloon. For someone who doesn't have lactose intolerance, you have a little bit of hydrogen in your body, and so little to none. But whenever you have lactose intolerance, it'll show up more, and you'll have more hydrogen in your body because of the lactase that isn't being produced, or that isn't being digested, and so it'll show more in your breath. And they usually do that for young adults or teens whenever they're trying to assess and figure that out. They also do a stool acidity test. That's usually for infants and babies or young children that have it to diagnose it. They'll just take a stool sample, and the doctors will do tests on it to run it. For me, they just did the medical test, and saw my symptoms, and some other people in my family had it, so that's what they assumed that I had. There are many different symptoms to this. Not everybody has the same symptoms. You can either have abdominal bloating, pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, other things like that. Some people will have all the symptoms, and some people only have a few. It just depends on how much lactase your small intestine produces. And these symptoms occur 30 minutes to 2 hours after you eat something that has lactose in it. For me, whenever I was younger, it was about 30 minutes on the dot after I ate things. I would start to get sick, and I would only be bloated and have the pain, and I would sometimes throw up, but now that I've gotten older, it's gotten better. There are different ways that you can treat it. Changing your diet, stop eating things that contain lactose, dairy products and things. But if you have it from a young age, you need to be careful because you need to still have the calcium in order for you to grow and things. You can take medications. Your doctor can prescribe you things, or there's over-the-counter. For me, I took things that were over-the-counter. There's one that you can take just every day, every morning you take it, but that didn't work for me. So I took another kind that you take as soon as you start eating something that contains dairy in it. That helped a lot more. And then there's lactase supplements that can try to help your body to break down the lactose more. I hope from this that you guys have learned a little bit more about lactose intolerance and that you have a better understanding of it.